Okay, so self-doubt, right? It's like this thing that follows you around when you're starting something new, especially a business.
It's true. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't really want to talk about it. Like it's, I don't know, a sign of weakness or something.
Yeah, but I think we all feel it sometimes. And that's why this talk by Krishna from Blossom Minds, I found it so interesting because he just comes right out and says it, you know?
Totally. He actually compares self-doubt to, get this, samosas.
Samosas. Okay, how does that even?
I know, right? But it works because he's saying, look, everyone in India, they love samosas, right? They're everywhere.
Okay, so he's saying self-doubt is just as common.
Exactly. Like, it's normal to have these doubts. It doesn't mean you're not cut out for this, especially when you're pushing boundaries, building a startup.
Which is all about like embracing the unknown.
Yeah.
So he gets that, but why does he think entrepreneurs are particularly prone to this though?
Well, think about it. It's like, and I'm going to butcher this analogy, but trying to fix a car while you're driving it down the highway.
Okay, yeah. Maybe not at the highway speeds.
You get the idea. Everything's moving so fast. You're constantly learning new things, making big decisions with like very little information.
Like you're building the plane as you're flying it, right?
Exactly. No wonder self-doubt creeps in. And then you've got imposter syndrome on top of that.
Oh, tell me about it. That feeling of, do I really know what I'm doing? What if everyone finds out I'm a fraud?
Right. That's that internal pressure, and it can be crippling if you let it.
So how do we deal with that? How do we make it stop?
Well, here's the thing, and this surprised me too. Krishna actually says that a little bit of self-doubt, it can be a good thing.
Wait, what? Good? How?
He's saying it's all about finding the right balance, because when you have a healthy amount of self-doubt, it keeps you sharp. You're always trying to improve, to learn more.
So it's like this motivator in a way.
Right. It stops you from getting complacent. So it's not about making it go away completely. It's about reframing it.
Reframing how we see it.
Exactly. Turning it from this thing that holds you back into like a driving force.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that? How do we make that mental shift? So it's like we need to make it work for us.
Right.
Instead of against us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a big part of that is how we look at failure. Because isn't that what's behind a lot of self-doubt? That fear of failing.
100%. It can be paralyzing. Like, you're so scared of making a mistake that you end up doing nothing at all.
Right. And Krishna, he has this whole thing about failure. He wants us to change how we think about it, like not say it as this horrible thing, but more like a learning experience. He even talks about keeping a failure diary.
Failure diary. What's that all about?
So it's like whenever something doesn't go as planned, you write it down, not to like dwell on it, but to analyze what happened.
Interesting. So you can figure out what went wrong and maybe do it differently next time.
Yeah. It's about turning those failures into information you can actually use.
Okay, so it's not just about like wallowing in your mistakes. It's about using them to grow.
Exactly. Because let's be real, setbacks are going to happen. It's how we deal with them that matters.
But it's still hard, you know? Like in the moment when you feel that self-doubt creeping in, it's tough to remember all that.
For sure. It takes practice. And that's why Krishna, he stresses the importance of just taking action. Like, that's the best way to quiet those negative thoughts, he says.
Because when you're actually doing something, making progress, even just a little bit, it helps, right?
Totally. It builds momentum and confidence. And he's got this tip, I think you'll appreciate this, about breaking down those big, scary goals.
The ones that make you want to crawl under your desk and hide.
Those, he says, break them down into smaller, more manageable steps.
Which makes sense, because sometimes the whole picture is just so overwhelming, you know?
Exactly. But if you can focus on just that one small step in front of you, it doesn't seem so daunting.
And then each little win along the way, it kind of chips away at that self-doubt.
Right. It's like proof that you're capable, that you're moving in the right direction.
You know what else I really liked from his talk? That thing about the power of yet.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. It's so simple, but it really makes you think.
Right, like instead of saying, I'm not good at marketing, you say, I'm not good at marketing yet.
Exactly. It's like you're giving yourself permission to learn, to grow, instead of just like accepting that as a limitation.
Yeah. It's like you're opening up possibilities instead of closing them off.
Totally. And Krishna, he also talks about the importance of having a good support system, which I thought was really important.
Because it's easy to feel alone in this whole entrepreneur thing, especially when you're just starting out. It's like you're surrounded by people, but not everyone really gets it.
Yeah, no, totally don't. So it's crucial to find your people, the ones who understand the challenges, the ups and downs.
Like having a team in your corner cheering you on.
Exactly. And even then, even with the best support system, there was still going to be those moments of doubt. And that's where he says self-compassion comes in.
I'll be honest, when I first heard that, it was like, self-compassion? Really?
Right. Like, what is this, a therapy session?
Yeah. But he actually makes a good point about it.
He does, because it's easy to be so hard on ourselves, you know, especially in the pressure cooker of building a business. We forget to give ourselves a break.
Yeah, we do. And that whole thing he said about looking in the mirror every morning and saying, I've got this, I've been trying that.
Has it helped?
I think so. It sounds cheesy, but it's like you're reminding yourself of your own strength, you know?
It's like a little pep talk to yourself.
Okay, so to wrap this up, I think the biggest takeaway for me from Krishna's talk is we don't have to be afraid of self-doubt. It's about learning how to work with it, even use it to our advantage.
Totally agree. It's about turning it from an enemy into an ally.
As Krishna says, in the startup world, the brave move forward while the fearful stand still. Which will you choose? So what small step are you going to take today to move forward on your journey? Remember, even a tiny action is a victory against self-doubt.